Hey there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate you being here. So, I'm not sure if you watched the midterm results or not, but there was supposed to be this massive red wave that didn't really happen. So I was reading some reviews on it, and essentially what happened is Republicans did not win over independent voters, and Gen Z showed up and voted. I think it was 7% of all voters were Gen Z, and they voted very heavily in the favor of Democrats. So if you're curious about that, I was thinking about doing a whole video, but unfortunately there's not enough information to really get into it, so I'm just going to leave it be for now. What I did want to talk about was Clear Value Tax put out a video basically breaking down the Republicans' plan should they take control of the House and what they want to do moving forward. So I was just going to respond to that. Democrats also responded back to Republicans, but let's go ahead and switch over to that. So let's go with this. All right, so commitment to America. Basically, these are the points that Republicans were saying. The potentially soon to be new Speaker of the House. I've read through it and it's pretty fluff. I mean, there's not a lot of substance here. There are a couple things that I really like and some stuff that's like, yeah, it's pretty weak. I'm not sure how solid that is. But anyway, so curb wasteful government spending that is raising grocery, all this kind of stuff. Government spending isn't going to increase the price of that. What it is going to do is delay the ability to decrease inflation, but it's not actively raising these prices. So that's it's what they're talking about is good, but the cause and effect is not what they're saying it's going to be, at least not for the short term, the interim. But it is definitely something we need to start paying attention to, is reducing our output. So increased take-home pay, creating good paying jobs, bringing stability to the economy through pro-growth tax and deregulatory policies. So that would be really good depending upon who it is applied to. So if it goes to like the upper wealthy class, I don't know that's going to be all that positive. However, if it applies more towards your mom and pop shops, that would be spectacularly good. So that will do a lot for the economy. Make America independent and reduce gas prices. Maximize production of reliable, clean American-made energy. Cutting the permitting process and time, blah, blah, blah. You can read all this. So, yeah, this is good. It astonishes me that we're just now talking about this. I think it required the highest gas prices in American history to finally consider, like, hey, maybe we should start pumping some more of our own gas. Like, this is a no-duh. I can't believe that it takes, like, this kind of a plan to really try to put something like this in action. So, but anyway, here we are. That's a really good one. And then this next one, move supply chains away from China, expand U.S. manufacturing, enhance America's economic competitiveness, and cyber resiliency. Great. Absolutely fantastic. How are you going to do it? So it's this big talk, and it's really, really important for us to actually try to drive this point home and make this happen. But the ability for America to do this right now is going to be so bad. If we actually execute this, it's going to make inflation worse because things are going to be more expensive to be made because we're no longer relying on cheap labor in China. By cheap, I mean like borderline slave labor. And in fact, everything's going to be put more towards like present day union factories, and everything's going to be a lot more expensive. So this isn't really going to do anything to build the economy, but is absolutely direction we need to be heading. So I have a plan for this. It's the easy peasy plan. If you're not familiar with the channel, basically one of the policies that I really want to make happen is to essentially pull the plug on well, not pull the plug, that's a little drastic. Basically increase tariffs on anything that's manufactured or assembled outside of the United States. And there are different categories, different levels of reliance upon foreign manufacturing, assembling, whatnot. And then all of the tariffs collected from that will go towards building factories stateside to return those jobs home. So that's really, really Cliff Note version of easy peasy plan. Nation that's safe. This is a bunch of fluff. There's one part that I don't really agree with. Where's that? They're talking about increasing, support 200,000 more police officers through recruiting bonuses and oppose all efforts to defund the police. opposing efforts to defund the police would be solid, but trying to get more police, I don't know if that's a great solution. I don't really know numbers on where standing police force was pre-2020 versus present day. We probably do need more police officers, but I don't know about dang near 250,000. That's kind of a lot. So, but anyway, yeah, just reading through a lot of this, it's really catchy. I don't know if they're actually going to be able to accomplish a lot of this stuff. And it's weird that we're just now seeing some of this. I mean, the Democrats have been pushing hard, like all day, every day, screaming top of their lungs, anti-abortion types or pro-abortion type stuff. Whereas Republicans have just been kind of reacting and didn't really have a solid message other than we're not Democrats. So I think that's the one reason why they really lost the independent vote. They just didn't have strong messaging. In fact, Mitch McConnell a couple of months back was like, yeah, not having a plan is probably the best plan, because if we don't have a plan, the Democrats don't have anything to tear apart. But as it turns out, like, you got to have something. You got to have really, really strong sticking points that's going to resonate with independent voters. So, but anyway, Democrats ended up responding to this, and I'm going to send a link. I read through this, and it's pretty sleazy. The White House response to this plan. It was a gross read, but I'll go ahead and include it in the. I'll add this link in the description of the video if you want to go see that for yourself. But Clear Value Tax, or Brian, he'll break this down. So let's go ahead.
Take a look at the statement that was issued by the White House. It's about how the Republicans' plan will increase inflation and make your life miserable. It intros with, Congressional Republicans have laid out their MAGA trickle-down economic plan clearly. Their economic plan...
Yeah, so off the bat, they're already trying to brand it as mega MAGA. So they're already trying to attack Trump before he's even announced presidency. So that's kind of like a grown eye roll, but right now, that's the Democrats. Between abortion and anti-Trump, that's their biggest talking point. Neither of which really address the state of the U.S. economy. So, but anyway.
Plan will raise costs and make inflation worse. Now, the White House gives 5 major reasons. The first one is, they're saying that the Republicans will try to extend tax cuts that favor the wealthy. They're saying that this is going to add to the deficit and make inflation worse. Reason number 2, the Democrats are saying the Republicans are going to raise prescription drug prices for millions of seniors. They're saying that the Republicans in the House of Representatives are trying to repeal drug pricing measures. Number 3, the Republicans will increase health insurance premiums, especially for those covered under the Affordable Care Act. They're saying that Republicans will try to repeal ACA premium tax credits, which is an average of $800 for 13 million people. Reason number 4, the Democrats are saying that the Republicans will make your energy bills go up in 2023 and beyond. They're saying the Republicans will cut funding for clean energy, which will increase the price of your electricity.
All right, real quick on that note. That'll literally do the opposite. So there's a difference between clean energy, which right now the most common popular methods of clean energy are wind, solar, and there's a few others, but specifically I want to talk to those two because those are some of the most popular. They're not very eco-friendly. I was actually talking with somebody who worked in the solar panel industry for the past at least decade. He was telling me a whole bunch of ins and outs. Apparently, so he's one of my clients. We ended up purchasing a house back when I was working in real estate a couple months ago. And he was telling me that there are over 50 different chemicals in solar panels, and the environmental destruction that goes in, like the byproduct waste that is created from making solar panels, is horrible. Which is why we make solar panels which is why solar panels are made in China, because we'll let them destroy their environment because we don't want to destroy our environment. But as a result of that, the tariffs that are normally applied to just in general are completely removed from the importation of Chinese solar panels. So it's something that it's like a fake clean energy type thing. The other thing is because there's 50 different chemicals in those things, when they go bad after I think like 10 years was what the average of what the guy was telling me. It's it's not something you can really deal with because there's so much chemical waste inside of each one of those panels. You can't just discard them. So there's this whole other special process that's also really bad for the environment. So it's clean in theory, but it's not. It's really expensive. It doesn't produce a whole lot of electricity, and it creates a lot of waste, both in the construction and deconstruction process. So I learned that. That was kind of a bummer thing to learn because I actually like solar panels and like solar energy, and I was really excited about that particular mode. But the other thing would be wind farms. So I've also recently learned that apparently wind farms, those giant turbines, they're made out of fiberglass. And when they go bad, which they do every few years or so, they have to be discarded. But because they're huge and made out of fiberglass, there's nowhere for them to go. So they create gigantic landfills of just these huge propeller blades that you can't do anything with. So their byproduct is also a massive amount of waste, and they also produce very, very little energy. The reason why, and I was talking, I think last week, actually, yeah, Friday of last week, I was talking with this guy who, he's a bit biased. So he works in the petroleum industry and has basically his whole life. So it's literally his job to like dig into this kind of stuff. But he was explaining, gosh, I'm going to have to paraphrase. I need to pull this up. I might do a whole separate video on this topic alone. But basically, in order for solar wind or solar energy to be productive, the government will step in and guarantee that they will have a minimum amount of profit. So the government pays these companies to make sure that they stay profitable, which incentivizes all these other companies to build solar farms, even though they're not productive, they don't produce very much energy, and they're expensive. So the government, there's a lot of government waste for spending in this thing. It's basically like spending a bunch of money on a ship that just keeps sinking. It's like, just let the ship sink and build a different ship that won't sink. That type of mentality. So what the Democrats are saying is like, yeah, funding for this kind of stuff will go away, which will make the energy bills go up. No, it won't. Because the alternative is cheap energy, which by definition is cheap. So your energy bill will actually go down, but clean energy would go away. But honestly, the clean energy right now is fake. If we went nuclear, I don't understand. Like, I can't wrap my head around this. Nuclear energy is clean energy. It's bipartisan, nonpartisan. Everybody's on board with it. And I don't get why people aren't talking about it. So it pumps out columns of just steam. It's water and air. That is the byproduct. It's clean, it's super efficient, and it's the direction that the nation needs to be going. Like every nation on earth. We need to go that direction. I can't believe we're not. Anyway, that's a random tangent. Sorry, I'll let Brian finish.
Number 5, they're saying that the Republicans will try to undo the student loan forgiveness. The Democrats are saying that this is going to add back debt to 40 million Americans. Now, I want to give you some more specifics about the...
All right, so the whole student loan forgiveness, I mean, that's... I have lots of thoughts on that. That looks like a cheap way to buy votes because it's a one-time thing. It only affects one group of people, and it's not something that will add on. And it's something that needs to happen again at some point down the road, unless if the problem is fixed. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. You have to fix what's creating the bullet wound. Sorry, that's probably a bad analogy for anti-2A, so didn't mean to go that direction. Whatever caused the bad wound. You need to fix whatever is creating massive wounds before you just put temporary quick fixes over it that's not going to really heal anything. So anyway, the other thing is the president, I don't think he was supposed to have the power to be able to do that anyway. It's something that the House of Representatives is supposed to pass because the House is supposed to be in control of the coin purse. The presidency is supposed to be in charge of enforcing law. And then judges supposed to make sure that the laws are upheld. So anyway, it's not something that should have happened in the first place. But anyway, that's all I've got for this. I've gone on a bit longer than I meant to. Please leave a comment on your thoughts. I'd like to hear what you have to say in regards to either the midterm election results or just in any of these responses that both Republicans and Democrats had to say. I just realized you're staring at Brian's face. He's making a weird face. Oops, that's the wrong one. There we go. Oh my gosh, first day. I'm kidding. Anyway, so yeah, really appreciate you being here. Please don't forget to hit that like button if you like this. If you did not like it, then please keep it to yourself. I'm kidding. Leave a comment. Don't hit that dislike. I know who you are. Stop hitting dislike. So anyway, that's all I've got. So bye for now. And as always, Stay classy.